Hello, this is Pedro Romero, and I am here with an interview with FlyQuest Toucouille. We also have Josedeodo, but he'll come in shortly. And so, as everyone knows, Toucouille is one of the recent sightings joining the LCS. And for FlyQuest specifically, he's joining in as their newest mid laner coming in from GameWard of the LFL in France. And so, first of all, I'd like to start off by saying welcome to the LCS, Toucouille. It's nice of you to have you here. And how are you doing right now?
And thank you very much. Right now I'm in France and I'm about to leave for America quite soon. So I'm just enjoying a bit with my family and stuff and still grinding Link so I can be in really good shape for LCS.
Right, right. And so what is like the timeline? Because I know that in past interviews you have not been able to um travel to the US as like sooner as you would have hoped. And so when do you expect to arrive in the US?
I should arrive just after Christmas basically, maybe a couple days after Christmas. And yeah, that's it. I got my visa, I got everything, so I'm good to go.
Right, right. And yeah, coming into the LCS, you're obviously one of the newest signings that will grace the LCS main stage. It's one of the your biggest dreams to actually play in a major region, play with the big
Mm.
big people, play with the big players, play with the big whole names. And how are you feeling like now that you're like a few weeks off from the start of the LCS season with Lock In coming in from
Uh,
from the near horizon?
And honestly, I'm really excited. Like I know when I first signed, I don't know, it was like 1 or 2 months ago. I was really looking forward, and now I'm like really close to it. So yeah, I'm definitely really hyped, and I think it's gonna be really interesting to fly to America and see how people play there and how the environment's gonna be. And definitely, I'm really looking forward.
Yeah, and so when it comes to playing in the LCS, you obviously have to switch servers from like Europe into the NA. And so what was that like transition like for you to change from playing in EU now to NA? And also, have you been playing like NA like how long have you been playing in the NA server?
I haven't played any game on the NA server yet. Because of ping, obviously, because I'm living a bit too far. Yeah, I know solo queue in you. The good thing is that like there's good ping and like people say, I mean, people think that the player base are playing good, and I think the players are quite good in you. But I think NA is gonna be fun too, and I'm really hyped about the super server project. I think it's gonna be really interesting, and I know people do a lot of in-houses in NA, so I think practice is gonna be good.
Right, yeah, and like in-house thing, we're having a new system or new like player infrastructure in system of the NA that's in a way trying to catch up with the major regions such as Europe, China, Korea. China, Korea has their own like
Mm.
major super servers, and then the EU have like their regional leagues so that players can like get players on their own before eventually gracing into like or eventually getting promoted to the LEC. And
Mm.
so, what do you think of the creation of such new servers so that players in NA can get better on their own, so that before they can move up into academy slash the LCS.
Yeah, I think it's for sure good for new people that are coming in on the scene to have this really good training. I mean, yeah, this really good training server to practice against good players. And yeah, I think that's a big deal. I mean, I don't know how the server will look like. I don't know how good it will be, but I think that's for sure a good step to to do that at least. And yeah, I think it for sure will help new NA players get into really good team and do good at Worlds and blah blah blah. And that is good for the vision.
Right, you'll face off against many people within the region. Major mid laners, junglers, top laners, all of those players in every single position in each game. You'll basically have like a different sort of composition. But one of those new players that you'll play with slash against is Josedeodo, your newest teammate. And so, how has it been to like mesh with him while you guys are preparing for the LCS next season?
Um, I think yeah, before I signed, we talked a bit with Jose. I know we watched some Worlds games. We talked a bit with the coaches, and yeah, we just like got to know each other, and I really like how he thinks about the game, how he plays, and I think I mean I'm gonna do my best. So it's true, but I think we can become like one of the best mid jungle in LCS, and that's my goal for this LCS season.
Have there been any like difficulties? I mean, I know you talked about how you guys communicated in the lead up to the LCS, but has there been any like obstacles that you have to go through? You know, such as like not knowing enough English. If I as far as
Hmm.
I know, you may not know good English, and so has that been like an obstacle in communicating with your new teammate?
I think it's all right. Like I've been playing in LFL since I mean it's been basically 2 years that I'm in like teams where I speak English, so so it was not that hard, I think, and yeah, I don't think there are many obstacles. Maybe just the jet. I mean the jet, like the the time difference. Like basically when I wake up, it's night for American people, and when I go to bed, it's like only the afternoon. So I think yeah, that's the biggest obstacle because you can't really do a lot of stuff basically.
Right, right, right. And so coming in from the LFL to the LCS, you obviously um experience different sorts of play styles. And so, given that you've played a handful of years within the LFL before moving over to the LCS, um, have you sensed any difference between like LFL and LCS playstyles? I mean, of course, you haven't actually played in the
Mm.
LCS yet, but I'm sure you must have played against actual like current LCS players, and so there a difference between like those two sorts of playstyles.
Mm, I watched a couple LCS games and I played a lot in LFLs. What I can say is that some teams in LFL are playing really really fast, and yeah, they're just like perma diving, perma invading, and I think yeah, I mean the best LFL teams basically they do that a lot, and I think that's that's a bit the identity of the region. I would say that everyone is like really fast macro, really aggressive, and LCS, I think people have like really good mechanics, really good lanings, and I don't know how fast and how aggressive they're gonna play, but I guess I'll see and I will adapt.
Do you think that it will be a focus for yourself and the rest of the team to play that sort of hard pound aggressive type of play style?
Yeah, I really want us to play like this. I know that the coaches and Jose, I mean all the players, they watch some of the VODs. I mean, I sent them some VODs of my games,
Mhm.
and what they really liked was that I was like calling a lot of things every time I had prayer. I was like telling we could do stuff, and they really like that. So I think this is what I will try to bring to the team. Yeah, bring good laning, good roaming, and good team fight. And I think that's what I need to provide the team.
Right, and of course, we're going to expect plenty of things from yourself and the team for next year. And so, rewinding it back a little bit to last year, obviously you were part of GameWard in the LFL. You started off very spectacularly, if I say so myself. You garnered that Spring MVP trophy or Spring MVP award.
Mm.
Um, then you made the playoffs. You didn't do well there. I mean, I think you were eliminated in the first couple of rounds of the postseason. And so after that, you moved on to the summer split, which went worse than you would have imagined. Not even making the playoffs. And so there was a definite regression in that front. And so you've already gone through like a handful of months since missing out on the playoffs. I'd like to hear your reflection on this past season. Like, how did you reflect on the struggles that your team faced during this past season?
Um, I think the first split, it was a bit hard as a team. I know individually I played good, some people in my team also, but it was hard to click as a team really, and we made playoff, but then we just lost. And then yeah, then we had this next summer split, we had a chance jungle too, and I think yeah we kind of had like the same issue, and like the same issue that we had in the split before, that kept growing, and then it was really hard to do great. So I mean, I just tried my best to save the split, to do good, and then I mean, once it was over, I was just like, I went back to focusing on myself because obviously the team was gonna like break apart a bit. So I just focused on myself. I I played a lot of solo queue. I tried to be really good and be in good shape. And yeah, and then I did some tryouts, so it was even better to be in good shape. It was really important for me. And yeah, I did tryouts, I sent votes, and in the end, everything. In the end, like FlyQuest really liked me, so I think I'm just gonna do my best now and see.
Right, and so will you look back on this past season with like total disappointment, given that you weren't able to acquire team silverware, or slight happiness, or like some solace, given that you were able to gain individual recognition, um, from being the MVP
Mm.
to eventually becoming the new starting mid laner of FlyQuest.
I mean, I feel like we just had like a lot of issues in the team, and it was hard to really make a lot of wins. And I know I mean, the spring split especially, I think I played quite well. I mean, I'm happy with how I played. Obviously, I'm not happy with how we played as a team, and it was hard to grab wins. But but when the team is going rough, it's hard to really come back. So I think best I could do is just try to play good individually. And if everyone thinks like this and we somehow manage to solve the problems, then we would have made good progress. But unfortunately, we couldn't. And now I'm just looking forward to not do the same in FlyQuest. And I think I learned a lot from this past disappointment, and I'm pretty confident for next year.
I mean, looking at you and Josedeodo's trajectory in this past year, you both suffered tremendous disappointment. Both of you guys couldn't make the playoffs in the second half of the season, and so when it came to you guys getting to know each other, did you identify that sort of similarity in playoff disappointment?
Mm, I don't really think, because I think me and Jose are like we are like competitors. We really want to win, and like okay, my summer split was bad. His summer split was bad, but it didn't really matter. He was just like really hyped to do good next year, and I was in the same mentality. And yes, I said we're not focusing on it. Honestly, we're just playing game and thinking about the game and thinking about how we could improve. And I think this is how we think.
This is basically GG go next year. You go next year.
Yeah, yeah, kind of. I feel like okay, the year was fucking bad, and I mean it was bad and hard to find a synergy. But as long as I am happy about my personal level, as long as Jose is happy about his personal level, and we can make like a really good team next year. I think this is what matters. Like the past is past, and just should just look at what's coming in front of you.
Right, and speaking of the future, you obviously will pair up with Jose Deodo, one of the most popular players in the LCS. Obviously, given his track record in Latin America, and also including this year. I mean, FlyQuest even started an all Spanish casting or Twitch channel, if I do say so myself. So it just speaks volumes to how popular he is. And so you coming into the team, given that you were negotiating on whether or not you were going to come, which eventually you did, what made you convinced that FlyQuest was going to be your next destination in your career?
Um, it's like many things that first, I really like the coaching staff. I know Sharks, or head coach. He was coaching in Hero Wells a couple years ago, and I was screaming him a lot, and I really liked his team, and his team was really fucking good. And it just felt nice to join this project. And also, I talk to some people about what they think about FlyQuest, and everyone was like telling me that the org is really nice, and they really want to succeed. And I think that's really important part. And also playing with Jose, I think it's like a good, it's a chance. And basically, yeah, this is what made me join FlyQuest.
Right. You said that was the biggest thing that led you to joining FlyQuest, and so when exactly did you guys like when did that partnership actually begin? Was it like during like negotiations, before you actually signed the contract? What was
With
that
Jose,
like? Huh?
with Jose Deodo,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, basically, it's just before I signed, we were talking already, because I know also Jose was thinking. I mean, he was talking to his coaches, and he was watching my games. I was also watching his games, um, and yeah, and I know when I talked with people about Jose too, they were always telling me that he's really a good player, and he has like really good potential. And I think this is what really matters, because you have a good coach, and if you have player with potential, and if you have like good laners, it's we can do really really good stuff.
Right, and so that obviously forged some expectations regarding Jose Deoda's playstyle and how you will mesh with him while in game. And so, in comparison to how what you expected it would be like to play with him and how it actually turned out, like is was there like a difference between those sorts of aspects?
Um, I mean, I haven't played with him yet. Well, I haven't screamed with we haven't screamed with the full roster yet, so I can't really say it. Um, but yeah, I mean, we'll just see when we enter the season.
Meeting each other, talking to each other, getting to know each other. Was there anything that you were surprised by? Were there anything that you were surprised about Jose Deodo when it came to meeting him?
Um, I mean, I think he's like really famous, but he's really chill. And you just like talk to him on Discord or stuff. He's just really chill, and I think that's a really good point.
Yeah, like he started his own YouTube channel. I don't know if you know, but he's been starting doing content creation. And so will we expect to see anything? Will we see a feature including yourself in his future videos?
I mean, maybe it would be really fun, I think, but maybe we'll see. First, we need to practice good, and then I know if it goes good, then everything will be good and happy.
Right, right. Everybody has major expectations regarding your arrival in FlyQuest. But it also must be mentioned that there will be other new people joining the team. Kumo's going to stay with the team from last year. Johnsun as well. Sharks is getting promoted from his assistant head coach role.
Mm.
Um, and Aphromoo will be joining in as a new support. A long-standing veteran within the North American League of Legends scene. And so, how has it been for you to mesh with each of those players in leading up to this season?
Um, I mean, the there were some players where the coaches were. I mean, it's like the NA scene basically. So I don't really know a lot of stuff, and I know my opinion is important, but about NA players, it's a bit like limited. So for ADC, for example, I just trusted my coach basically, and yeah, top we did. I mean, we did some tryouts, we did some talking, and in the end, I'm really happy with what we have, and I think it's gonna be really important to have Aphromoo. I think he can bring a lot to the team.
Right, and looking at the general makeup of the new team, like, is there like a sort of leadership role that was there? Like, who's going to be the main vocal figure, like slash leader of the team? comes to playing those games?
Mm, honestly, I don't know yet. It will depend how we feel when we first start screaming. How yeah how things go. But I know for early game I'm like quite vocal and yeah I think Aphromoo will do a lot too. And we'll just see I think when we start the season.
Right, and given that each player has their own sort of experience in their own right, has there been anything that you have learned from them thus far, at this point in time?
Mm, I haven't done a lot yet. I mean, we're just like talking and yeah, watching some games a bit. But I think once we'll get in game, it's when we'll really like learn a lot of stuff and discuss way more and on way deeper levels. And I think this is when the interesting part is gonna come.
Yeah, and so looking forward into next year, specifically, um, there are many people that are seeing this team as sort of like a mid to lower table caliber team. But there were some people within your team that said that the main goal is to at least reach playoffs, contend with the big players occasionally, and just make some noise and gain momentum for later down the line in the year. And so I know that you said that you haven't really scrimmed with the entire team at
Mm.
this point, but how do you view like the current level of the team? Where does it stand in within the LCS as of at this time?
Um, I mean, I think what matters most is how good we will be once LCS starts, and we have like a couple weeks to learn with the coaches to just improve and get better. So I think it's hard to say right now. Uh, um, and but for sure we have like really good players, and it would be a shame if we don't manage to build a good team that can reach playoff. And so yeah, I'm quite confident.
As everybody knows, LCS is such a major stage that it always keeps changing. We always bring in new characters, new people, new coaches, new players, new analysts, new whatever, new mascots, whatever it is. But in layman terms, it's a very eventful league. You'll have obviously have to face off against new teams with revamped lineups such as yourselves. And so, who do you see as your biggest competitor?
mm, you mean as a team, or I mean our
You
biggest competitor?
you can say individual and team.
um I mean, I just want to compete with the best and see how it goes. Um, I think Team Liquid for sure look really really solid, and it would be really good to win games against them. And yeah, I don't really have. I mean, yeah, it's I just want to beat everyone and and yeah, if TL is really good, then we're gonna be happy. We can learn a lot from them, and challenging them is gonna be is gonna be a bit hard, but I think it's gonna be the interesting part.
What about the rest of the league, like Counterlogic Gaming, Dignitas, EG? What about those? I mean, Golden Guardians, if I remember correctly, Golden Guardians was a team that eliminated FlyQuest from playoff contention last year. And so, what do you think of like those of the rest of the teams in the league?
Mm, I mean, I okay, I don't know a lot of any players, as I said, so yeah, I sorry, but like it's not like in you where I could scream them and see who is good, who is not. It's hard to really have a grasp at how good teams are. Um, but definitely, I mean, I'm gonna be really happy if we can beat them, and I think you can ask Jose for this. He he will know better than me for sure, and I don't want to to say too much bullshit.
All right, that's good. That's good. I understand. Um, And you already said it, team. Like, what is your team that you are most looking forward to facing off? But I'd like to take it to a different avenue. and say which mid lane jungle pair are you most looking forward to facing this year?
Um, hmm. I I think there are some that I want to face, like, well, I mean, for sure, Jackson and Santorin, I think. They're gonna be really interesting to face. And I think we can, if you play well, we can get some lead against them, and it's gonna be interesting. And I'm also excited to face Inspired. Um, I don't quite remember who their mid is. It's like, wait, who is Inspired mid? It's
It's
Yo.
inspired in EG, so he's going to be paired up with Jojo Pune,
Yeah, Jojo Pime, yeah.
a rookie in the in NA, an NA rookie.
Yeah, I'm really excited to face them and see if we can be a better mid jungle than than Inspired and Yo-Yo Pune.
Right. What about Cloud9? I mean, Fudge is coming in from top lane into mid lane. So
Mm.
what is it like? What do you think of that like sort of transition in lineup?
Actually, yeah, it's gonna be interesting too. And I watched some of his games, and I think he's been doing pretty good so far. Um, and yeah, of course, he has a lot of things he can improve on, but it's interesting to see how he evolves anyway. And I would be really happy to face them and see how it will go.
Right. Early on in the off season, Zabutin took to Twitter and described yourself as a person who has a playstyle similar to the Larson, Power Evo, and Jensen. So, like, is that accurate? Like, who do you see yourself playing as? Like, who do you think you resemble your playstyle from?
Mm, I think yeah, I have like a bit of a mix. I know when I improve, when I learn stuff, I try to get the best part of different players, and I know I want to have like really good laning phase, a bit like Larson, but I also want to be really proactive in early game. So I would say I'm a bit more like Jensen, I think, because I think he's like I think he's proactive in early and he's trying to do stuff. So yeah, I think I want to be a mix, basically of what people have good.
Right, and um, the first tournament that FlyQuest will participate is the Lock In. I think you are in a group of. Wait, hold on. Let me check my notes. You are in 100 Thieves, Cloud9, Gordon Guardians, and TSM. And so, what do you think of What do you think of that group? How do you think you're going to fare against them? With Lock In a few weeks away.
Um, I think it's a hard group for sure with TSM and under tips. Um, but I think it's really good to yeah just have a couple first matches. And it's really good to face really good team. I think because like if you win, it's really good for you, and if you lose, you can always be like, yeah, we're just starting to scream, which is true because we won't have a lot of screams coming into this tournament. So I think it's good facing really good team and try our best.
Right, and I'm gonna give you a whole like a general sort of question. What are your expectations for yourself and FlyQuest for this year or next year?
For next year, I think. I mean, I want our team to make playoff, and if we do good, maybe like we can dream about like qualifying to Worlds, and I think that's something we can do. It's really up to us, and I think we have the potential to. And individually, I want to just play good and show people that I can be one of the best mid laner in LCS or the best, and I think that's something I can reach. It's not easy, but I can reach us, and I would be. I mean, this is what really hypes me for next year.
Right, perfect. And I'll make sure to do that in a later time. That about wraps up all of my questions to Kui. Thank you so much for taking the time to interview. One final thing, do you have any final shout outs to give, final words, final acknowledgements, anything?
Yeah, I mean, I want to do a shout out to LFL fans because they've been watching me for so long now, and they've always been really supportive. And I know there are a lot that are really happy that I'm going to LCS, um, and that's just really good, and it just feels good that sometimes I receive messages from people telling me, yeah, I will watch LCS now next year because you are in, and it just I'm just feeling really happy.
Becoming a role model for the LFL fans everywhere. Toucouille, thank you so much once again
Thank you.
for the interview. Once again, I've been Pedro Romero with this interview with Toucouille of FlyQuest. That said, I'll see you on the next one, everyone.
Bye bye.